Cram the brakes. Instructions. Yeah, it's self-explanatory. Hey, good morning. Welcome back to Half Moon Customs. Big John. We're going to work on the 50 today, and in true fashion of the ADHD that I suffer with, we're going to jump from one project to the next. So if you ain't seen it already, we painted the engine bay on the 66 Fastback, and it's looking slick, y'all. It looks great. Can't wait to stuff down that motor in it and everything. But before we do that, I need to address something pretty bad on the 50. So when I bought it, the truck, yeah, it was drivable. It stopped, and it's still drivable. But, well, she's got four-wheel drum brakes. And if y'all know anything about drum brakes, they work great as long as they're adjusted correctly. It actually stops, but when it stops, it wants to jerk the wheel to the left really, really hard, which is oncoming traffic, which is a no bueno. No bueno. That's not good.
A lot of big crashes at Talladega, but this is the longest one I've ever seen. Let's take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back.
Let's jump in and take it for a ride, because I want to show y'all exactly what it's doing. So let's hop in, let's take it for a spin down the road, and let's just see just how bad it is, okay? This is a genuine cold start. I've not cranked it, I've not been out here to do anything with it. So let's push the clutch in, throw her up in neutral, keys on, choke, slightly pulled out. Let's pull it out just a little bit more. Push the push button. That's too cool, y'all. I can't get over it. I've got fuel injected vehicles in the yard that don't crank that easy. So let's take her down the road. Old 3-speed, pull it to you and up. Goes to reverse. Let's back this thing out. Alright, first gear, to you and down. Let's shut our door. Slam it like you mean it. Speedometer reading about 20, and I checked it. It's fairly accurate. Speedometer is pretty close. It's not too bad off at all. Oil pressure works good. The temp gauge works. The fuel gauge does not. And I've taken it apart and checked the sender, but I can't figure out. She's wanting a little less choke. She wants to breathe. Old Flathead one barrel needs a little air. So I've taken the fuel sending unit apart to try to figure out why it's not working correctly. I can't really come up with anything. So if y'all know anything about how to diagnose a 6-volt fuel sending unit, feel free to send me some info, because I don't know what I'm doing. It's a positive ground, and so that throws you off a little bit on the polarity side. But I mean, still, I would think all it is just a polarity difference. But I don't know if the issues in the gauge, I'm not real sure. I don't even know if I can test my wire to see if I've got 6 volts coming to it. I mean, I assume surely you could. But anyway, I'd like to get the fuel sending unit working. All right, let's throw her back to second. See if we can get up a little bit of speed. I don't want to get too much. I got a little straight stretch. Here you go, y'all. Cram the brakes.
Did that go the way you thought it was going to go?
Did y'all see that? That's without your hand on the wheel. That's not good. She locked up. I smell fresh rubber. I killed it. She probably wasn't ready to be fully off the choke, just because I stopped and was idling. Obviously, the front brakes need adjusted. I think the driver's side front one is very tight. All right, so before we get started, let's take a little quick inventory of what we have. I bought it from Speedway motors, but looks like it's a classic Performance Parts. Part number 4856DBK-4.5, and it's for a 48 to 56 Ford F1. And so anyway, let's unbox it. Unbox the instructions anyway, so we can take inventory of what we have. Anytime you do this, it's a good idea to take a little time and go through your inventory list before you get started. Make sure you have all your parts and pieces. A really good idea, and I very rarely ever do it. But since y'all are watching, I'm gonna take a little extra time. It says the rotors are for a 76 to 81 Aspen, Valère, or Chrysler equivalent. Calipers are 70 to 77 Camaro or GM equivalent. Impala or whatever, etc., etc. Comes with a A2 outer, a A17 inner, and some wheel bearing seals of 9406S. And this is the 5x4.5 bolt circle. Now, the reason why I went with the 5-on-4.5 bolt circle is because I intend to upgrade the rear as well. I want to go disc brakes front and rear, right? I mean, who wouldn't? So the truck has a 56-inch track width, an Explorer 8.8 with it narrowed, just like we did on the Mustang, the 66 Fastback. If we take the passenger side axle shaft out of a junker, we put it on the driver's side and shorten it 2 7/8, we end up with pretty close to a 56-inch width axle, which is perfect. And it's a 5-on-4.5 pattern, and it's disc brakes. So that's the plan here. We're planning on, we're gonna tackle the front end, get it knocked out. I've got a little steering play in there. I've got to get it, jump in there and see what's going on. And obviously I'm gonna end up having to upgrade the master cylinder. That's a whole nother day's project though, y'all. Just gonna knock out this rotor disc brake swap. So anyway, obviously 2 rotors, 2 calipers up here. There's the other one. Looks like, I think that's brake pads. Yep, pads. 2 new hoses. We got our bearings, and we'll jump into that here in a minute. But obviously we got the pack. Bolts to put the caliper brackets on. 2 caliper brackets, of course. Dust caps. Some type of bearing shims. Probably some kind of spacer deal that presses out from the looks of it. So we'll figure that out. Me and you, we'll get in there and we'll tackle it and see what's going on. There's some shims of some sort. So anyway, instructions. Yeah, it's self-explanatory, right? Or after you take it apart and put it back together 3 times, you'll know exactly how it goes together. And then why would you have ever needed to look at the instructions anyway in the first place? So let's take a look at it and see what we got to work with here. There's a million ways to take these stupid dust caps off. This is just the tool I grabbed, and I thought maybe it might work, and it doesn't appear to be working. I don't like channel locks the best. Let's see if we can go find some of those. No channel lock. Just use your hammer. Come on, y'all. You know a crescent wrench ain't worth anything anyway. Don't be getting all bit sentimental on me about a crescent wrench. Every tool is a hammer. I think it's Adam Savage said that. All right, there we go. All right, let's see if we can bend that back. At least everything still looks okay. One more time on the hammer. What would a guy give for a pair of needle nose right now? Yeah, you don't need none of those. There we go. All right. Oh, let's use this for what it was intended for. More than likely, it won't fit. It won't get out big enough, and then I'll have to go find something else anyway. And I should have just kept it as a hammer. See, look, I told y'all. All right, let's see what we got. Baby channel locks. Yeah, it shouldn't be very tight. It's just a bearing loader. Little catching threads. All the way out to the end too. Okay. All right. So this is the side that was grabbing really hard. So I'm kind of expecting a little resistance from these shoes. You know, doesn't really surprise me a whole lot. See what our wheel bearing looks like. Looks pretty dry. I definitely like keep in mind greased a lot more than that. But anyway, looks a little black. I'm hoping that this will come off without much of a fight. Come on, baby. It's thinking about it. There we go. All right. See what we're working with. Drum looks pretty good on the inside, fairly smooth. Don't see anything sticking out too much. Bearings good, wheel seals fair. Shoes. Oh, I got it's a deep groove. No, I guess it's just made that way. All right, so got all of that. Wheel cylinder actually looks fairly dry. Springs look good. That's all pluses in my book. But we didn't come to service and adjust the brakes. We come to change them out, make them a disc brake setup. So let's see what we can get done here. I think I'm gonna leave that all intact because who knows? I might decide I want to put them back on. I doubt it. I highly doubt it. But you never know. And I'd rather keep all of that intact. Looks like there's 4 bolts on here, which is kind of what I was expecting according to the disc brake bracket that come in the kit. Looks like they're square heads, so we'll have to get in behind there, see what we got to work with. I got to get in behind there and get this brake hose loose. The brake fluid. Screw it, I'll clean it up later. All right. Is that a big enough hammer for y'all? Better put your purse down if you're gonna use this one. She ain't for no sissies. Oh, about took you out. All right, let's inspect it. Let's see what we got to work with here. One shock. Bushing surprisingly halfway decent. Full extension. Totally, well, not totally collapsed, but totally junk. Absolutely doing nothing, no shocking. No bound, no rebound. All right, so I gotta go to the parts store and see if I can find one of those. That's gonna be a trip for today. So let's try to get as much stuff tore apart and figure out what we gotta get before we go to the parts store. All right, so let's do a little bit better job of our inventory. First off, this bracket, install the caliper mounting bracket onto the back side of the spindle. Make sure the caliper opening is pointing towards the rear of the truck. Okay, spacers provided in the kit can go between the bracket and the spindle. When attaching the caliper bracket to the spindle, be sure that the nuts are on the inside of the rotor. So bolts through from the back, I guess. Also, the flat of the nut must be up against the shoulder of the spindle in order for the nut to seat correctly. This is very important. Okay. Ooh, what was that? What was that? Hey, did y'all see what that was? I really don't know. Hopefully I didn't break anything, or y'all can just let me know later. Okay, caliper bracket is on. It's on like Donkey Kong. All right, so next up is the, let's see again. It says this is very important. When attaching the caliper bracket to the spindle, make sure that the nuts are on the inside of the rotor. Also, the flat of the nut must be up against the shoulder of the spindle in order for the nut to seat correctly. This is very important. Yep, and yep, yep. Okay. Number 4, slide the caliper onto the bracket with the bleeder up. The caliper may not, hang on a minute, did I not put a rotor on? Slide the caliper onto the bracket with the bleeder up. The caliper may not slide in place due to a bump in the casting next to the piston bore. In some cases, it will be necessary to grind this bump flush using a bench grinder. Reinstall the caliper and turn the spindle full lock left to right and check for any interference. The caliper bracket should clear the Kingpin lock nut. Uh-oh, y'all. I think I figured out what happened just a second ago. I think I sheared off the Kingpin lock nut because it sure looks like it's sheared off. Yeah, so that heck of a thump you heard a minute ago was actually that little bolt. You know what that bolt is? It's what holds the Kingpin in place. It's like a tapered bolt. Goes in through the Kingpin. The Kingpin's got a notch in the side of it, and that's what holds it all together. So I'm gonna have to drive that out, see if I can find another bolt. It's great. And that, I think the only reason why I did that is because I had the caliper bracket loosely bolted, and I turned the wheel. When I did, it obviously jammed it up, and y'all probably saw every bit of it on film. So this is just me figuring it out later. But anyway, all right, where's our caliper? All right, caliper L for left, driver's side, bleeder screw always to the top. Always, always, always to the top. It looks like it's gonna work, maybe. So anyway, this sits on here like this. I need to make sure that I've got any room for it to slide back and forth, which I do. Pin goes in, tightens up, shoes go on, or pads rather, go on there, slide that through, yeah, just like that. So something to the all on that line, turn it all from lock to lock, fits good. So there we go, that's good. Here's the bad news. Somehow or another, this thing, I don't know if maybe it was the little O-ring washer deals that they got in there. Somehow or another, I jacked up the threads on one of these pins. This one right here. So I think, more than likely, I just got a cheap quality pin. Probably junk, because it looks kind of soft. And the other thing is I may have junk threads up in there, because you know they probably didn't chamfer the hole before they drilled it. who knows? They probably tapped the sucker after they used the wire EDM to burn out the hole. Probably didn't even drill it. So anyway, we're going to take an intermission. This is going to be one really long video if I don't do a bunch of editing. So, but anyway, I'm going to go see if I can find some more pins, and I may end up seeing if I can buy a tap with that correct thread on it so I can rethread these brackets, because it should not have jacked up my thread on my bolt. Something ain't right. I'm going to take a pin and my bracket and make sure I get the right thing. So anyway, intermission. I will see y'all after lunch. Go eat some chips and salsa with my smoking hot wife, and catch y'all in a few. All right, y'all, back from lunch. Got us a tap. I got a die. Try to straighten up that one bolt. He didn't have the bolt that I needed in stock anyway. He had one similar to it, so just got a die and straighten up the threads on it, and now she's good to go. So I'm just going to use a tap, try to clean out this. Probably should be doing this by hand, considering I had some issues with that. Yeah, because that one goes in straight right away. Clearly, there's a bit of issue here on this one. Need my T-handle for my tap. I've got one I started on back in machinist school, and I never did finish it. I got kicked out for not coming to school. I was dating my wife at the time, and I had better things on my mind. Put some lube on that before we screw anything up worse than it already is. The tap don't seem too happy in that hole, so I wonder if it's an even tapped the right you know, size or drilled. Trying to just go easy with it. Kind of funny, all the rest of them do okay, but this one in this particular bracket wants to be a pain. It's kind of how it goes, though. The old China metric man at it again. He didn't get his tap drill size quite to the 7/16 spec. It feels awfully tight. Tap's trying to torque. I'm trying to go easy with it though and not break anything. Really important when you make a couple cuts, go back over your cut, kick that burr off of the thread so you don't twist your tap in half. And that's the bad part, is I can almost see the tap twisting. But maybe they got me squared away. It seems like it wants to tap, but it's cutting out quite a bit of material. Okay, I think it might be about through. Yeah. There's one in every crowd. Ugh. Yeah, I think I'm all the way through now. Yeah, there. Mix. Hey, boy. There we go. Careful with that. Yeah. Like butter, man. Like butter. Good, 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 good. All right. All right, so that's exactly how that goes sometimes. Sometimes you buy this cheaper stuff like this that comes from China and your threads are all jacked up. Yep. So I'd spend another couple, $10 in a trip to town to get a tap and die in 7/16. I think it's 7/16 24, I believe. It was fine thread 7/16, which I believe that would be right. All right, so first off, I think I'm gonna dry run, test fit all this and make sure everything goes in like it's supposed to. I don't want to have wheel bearing grease and all kinds of stuff packed in and then find out that I gotta take it back apart. So, yeah. And then when I get ready to do the other side, it'll be all figured out and throw it together in about, what? 10-15 minutes. Well, that looks pretty good there. So, I don't know if I'm using that adapter or not. We'll see. Oh, so that's probably where the adapter goes, is on the back. So that's what that's for. It goes on the back right here and slides over that, giving this bearing the correct surface to sit on, just like that. So let's try to test fit it. Again, this is just a dry run. We're just trying to confirm that everything fits and works and goes in the correct locations like it's supposed to. Hopefully the China man cut the threads okay on that castle nut, because if he didn't, I'm going to be using the original one. Even though it acted like it had a little bit of a grab on it. Alright. Again, this is just mock up. No grease. Bearings are dry. Let's see if we can throw a caliper on. Okay, well, that gets everything kind of mocked up where I can see how it's going to work out. Everything spins good. And then we're going to turn. Nothing hits, I don't think. It should still be good. Yep. Still good on our clearances. All right, so aside from a few hiccups with some junk threads from China, kit goes together pretty nicely. I mean, I'm not upset with it at all for the price. Just wish they would learn how to cut some SAE threads better. But anyway, I forgot that one cleaned out. It's pretty good. It looks good on there. I think that it'll make a big difference on the stopping. And for now, I think that's where we're going to end. If you've made it this far, then I really appreciate you sticking around. And we'll update later once I get both sides put on and brakes bled. And you'll actually probably see another video because I'm not going to be done yet until I get the master cylinder changed out. So I've got that ordered. I'll have to pull the pedal, get underneath there and take it out, and then template, drill some new holes in the bracket, and put the master cylinder on. So anyway, that's the plan. Maybe in the future you'll see we might do a drop axle on this or something, but right now I just want to update the brakes on it, make this thing stop and stop straight, because it's awful. And if you saw that. So anyway, and I got to get another shock, front shock. I totally forgot about that, so I need to call about that before. And thanks for hanging out with an old man who's tired and worked 12 hours last night and then come home and should have went to bed but stayed up and filmed y'all a little bit of footage of trying to get something done. So I apologize if I look a little tired. I am a little tired. And you know, it is what it is, though. You got to keep going on. You got to get your stuff done. And this is just one more thing I can check off the list as soon as I get this thing done. So hopefully tomorrow, maybe get back on this master cylinder, get it knocked out, throw the shocks on, finish up the other side. But for now, I'm bushed. I'm going in. I'm going to go get some sleep. And we'll catch y'all tomorrow. Thanks for checking us out. And it's Half Moon Customs. And we will be back with y'all before too long on the Mega Cab. I've got some pretty big plans, some stuff to show you on it, and can't wait to update on it. Anyway, thanks.